Welcome to our brand new What If story, Demon God of Gotham, a thrilling crossover where Cheon Yeo-Woon, the powerful martial artist from Nano Machine, finds himself mysteriously transported into the dark and dangerous world of the DC universe. As he navigates a city plagued by crime, corruption, and caped vigilantes, Gotham may never be the same. Expect intense battles, surprising alliances, and a clash between ancient martial arts and modern superpowers. Please note that some characters featured in this story are fan-made and not part of the original DC or Nano Machine canons. This is a fan-created narrative made purely for entertainment. Before we dive into the action, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more episodes, and comment below with your thoughts, theories, or suggestions. Let's see what happens when a demon god walks the streets of Gotham.
Chapter 1. Arrival of the Demon God. Midnight, Gotham City. The sky bled fog. Neon signs flickered like the gasps of dying spirits across the skyline, painting long shadows over alleys soaked in blood, fear, and whispers. Sirens wept in the distance. Somewhere, another scream joined them, just another soul crushed beneath the heel of Gotham's underworld. But in one forgotten block on the East End where even criminals feared to tread, reality trembled. It began as a flicker, then a crack, then silence, and then, with a sound like thunder trying to whisper, a black tear split the fabric of space behind an abandoned cathedral. Hidden beneath rusted scaffolding and rotting stone angels, it opened not with grandeur, but with purpose. From its stepped 12 figures. Their robes, black as ink and laced with blood-red sigils, fluttered despite the windless night. They radiated silence and oppressive stillness that crushed the air like invisible hands. At their center stood a man younger than his bearing suggested. His long black hair, bound in a crimson tie, flowed like silk. His left eye glowed a demonic red. The other held the stillness of a blade. He stood with hands behind his back, poised and unknowable. Cheon Yeo-Woon had arrived. Gotham Earth Zero post-rebirth timeline. This world is diseased. Yeo-Woon's voice was barely above a whisper, but the cultist behind him bowed low the moment it touched their ears. At his side, Elder Wan Yi's hair, now white with age and refinement, narrowed his eyes. The chi here is strange, twisted, heavy. Not chi, muttered Lady Mock Jinsel, her palms pressed to the earth, but something deeper. It listens, yet resists. Yeo-Woon knelt, pressing his fingers against the soil. It wasn't their world, but it wasn't hostile, not yet. The nano machine inside his bloodstream surged, interpreting atmospheric composition, radiation levels, and electromagnetic fields. New dimensional data detected. Universe, prime, Earth. Cultivation energy, degraded. Alternative energy signatures present, magical ley lines. Source particles, mutagene fields, potential adaptivity, 72%. Commencing environmental integration. We can survive here, he said. More than that, we can grow. Scene shift Wayne Manor. 1:23 a.m. Bruce Wayne woke from the Batcave's chair. A pulse. Faint, short, measured. Something new had just entered Gotham, undocumented and unsanctioned. Not a meta. Not magic. Not alien. Something else. He leaned toward the glowing monitors. Alfred, prep thermal drones. Sector 9B, there's a blind spot near the old St. Augustine Cathedral. No satellite feed scrambled. Already underway, sir, came the voice through the intercom. But whatever's there, the machines don't like it. Bruce frowned. Back in the Ruins Street, Augustine Cathedral, Elder Jinquan stood guard, his saber resting against his shoulder. Shall we take control of the city, my lord? The power here is pitiful. They rely on tricks, chemicals, and armor. No, Yeo-Woon said flatly. We do not reveal the blade until it is sharpened. Then what is your will? We observe, he said, and we build. He turned to elderly Beck, the one with a mind as sharp as his blade. Find who rules the shadows here. The criminals, the merchants, the weapons dealers. I want names. Trade routes, supply chains. We'll be Ghost, Beck answered, already moving. Yeo-Woon's voice dropped low. We are no longer in a land of martial sects and royal courts. We are in a world of masks, lies, and surveillance. Our sword must strike not with noise, but with inevitability. 48 hours later, Gotham Underworld. The cult moved fast. They disguised themselves as a shell company called Red Moon Holdings, a tech export group dealing in obscure hardware. No one cared to regulate. Through bribes and fear, they took over abandoned factories and hired local smugglers. Street gangs were absorbed, some willingly, some not. But none remembered how they were defeated. Only that men in robes came through walls, broke bones without touching them, and whispered death in a language they couldn't understand. They didn't speak Mandarin, or Korean, or any earth tongue. They spoke demonic scripture-infused words that broke the will. And, still, the city did not notice. The Batcave, Night 3. They're moving like ghosts, Batman said. Data scrolled across screens. A new company. Unknown imports. Street-level chaos vanishing where it should explode. They're cleaning up the streets, Nightwing commented. Almost like they're helping. They're replacing the scum. Not removing it, Bruce growled. This isn't justice, it's strategy. He pulled up thermal imaging from the blind zone. There barely visible was the silhouette of a man standing alone in the dark, motionless for hours. Bruce stared. Something about him was wrong, still perfectly poised, like a sword waiting to be drawn. Back at the cult's new base, Nightfall, Yeo-Woon stood. Beneath the moonlight in meditation, the nano-machine fed him energy readings. Leyline intersection detected beneath Gotham. Hidden nexus point, 312 meters below ground. Estimated origin, ancient ritual node. Potential cultivation site, optimal. He opened his eyes. The city has bones made of power, he whispered. It does not even know it is a battlefield. Mock Jinsel stepped beside him. Should we prepare the underground chamber? Yes, he nodded. We will plant the roots here. This city will feed our growth. And the one watching us? Yeo-Woon's eyes flicked to the distance where a lone bat drone hovered just outside visual range. Let him watch, Yeo-Woon said. If he is wise, he will understand. We are not his enemy. But if he is not, he raised a hand. A ripple of chi surged into the wind, slamming into the drone, disabling it instantly without leaving a trace. He will learn. To be continued. Next chapter, The Shadow Beneath the Cape. Chapter 2, The Shadow Beneath the Cape. Gotham City, midnight 400 feet above Crime Alley. Rain whispered across rooftops as Batman crouched on the edge of a derelict billboard. Below, the alley festered with rot and secrets, but tonight, the silence was unnatural. Red Moon Holdings, he murmured, eyes narrowed. The company had appeared on the Gotham ledger like a ghost. No origin records, no business history, no paper trail. But in just 72 hours, it had absorbed 3 major smuggling rings, 5 gang territories, and shut down 2 illegal weapons labs without firing a single shot. This isn't criminal activity, Bruce muttered into his comms. It's surgical intervention, Batcave. Oracle interface, 12:12 a.m. No hits on any international registry, said Barbara Gordon over the feed. Even LexCorp satellites couldn't trace their IP backbone. She paused. Bruce, I've never seen a company build infrastructure without leaving digital footprints. It's like someone is erasing themselves in real time. Batman stood. Not erasing, he said. Replacing. Hidden underground chamber, beneath Gotham's forgotten church. Torches burned with blue fire. Ancient runes, drawn in a language Gotham had never known, now covered the old catacombs. Where once bones had slept, now chi flowed in invisible rivers, pulled from the city's decaying soul. In the center of it all, Cheon Yeo-Woon meditated on a floating black stone. Each breath exhaled a pulse, not of air, but of dominion. Around him stood for cultists in ceremonial robes. Their hands traced Wuxia glyphs midair, reinforcing a foundational formation into this world's leyline echoes. Environmental absorption, ongoing, synchronization with source particles for %. Nano node expansion, complete, the nano. Machine's voice echoed inside his skull like a deity whispering through steel. Yeo-Woon's thoughts. The city bleeds corruption not from strength, but from weakness. Their protectors wear symbols, yet kill in silence. Their justice is reaction, not law. We will become what this world has forgotten. He opened his eyes. Lady Mock. She bowed. Yes, my lord. Begin phase 2. Let Gotham see only the illusion of peace, while we build the true empire beneath it. Elsewhere, Wayne Tower, private floor. Lucius Fox scanned an incoming alert. Bruce, you need to see this. He turned the monitor. A sleek new startup was buying property across Gotham's industrial zone, abandoned warehouses, tunnel networks, even condemned subway lines. They're carving a path beneath us, Fox said. Batman stared at the screen. They're not buying property. They're buying territory. Crime Syndicate Summit, Gotham Docks, abandoned shipyard. Penguin, Black Mask, and a half-dozen gang leaders sat inside an old cargo hold, arguing. Fear was thick in the air. 3 days. Black Mask roared, slamming a chair into the wall. 3 damn days, and I've lost 8 blocks. Who the hell are these robe-wearing freaks? Magic users? Someone asked. League of Assassins. Asked another. Penguin puffed his cigar. Who cares who they are? He sneered. We put a bullet in the head of their leader, and the rest scatter like pigeons. Then go shoot him yourself. Black Mass snapped. The last guy that tried his heart exploded. Without being touched. A voice cut through the air, calm and precise. Your chaos has drawn attention. The crime lords turned. Lee Beck, robed, stood in the hold. No one had seen him enter. You've been weighed, he said, and found lacking. One man reached for his gun. Lee Beck vanished. The room twisted. Men screamed. And when it ended, only two were left breathing. Beck stood among the corpses, hands still folded inside his sleeves. He spoke only once more before vanishing again. You will serve, or you will vanish. Back cave. Later that night. A new body count. 0 witnesses. No footage. All signs pointed to a style Bruce did recognize, but not from Gotham. This isn't the League of Assassins, he muttered. He stared at a captured still frame. A red-robed figure walking through smoke. Their steps left. No shadow. Their path showed no heat signature. But their power, he's building something. Gotham rooftop. 2 nights later. Batman stood facing the wind. A figure appeared from the shadows, walking calmly, like a ghost made flesh. Cheon Yeo-Woon. No mask, no symbol, just stillness, terrifying in its silence. You've been watching, Yeo-Woon said. You've been manipulating, Batman answered. They studied each other, to predators in human skin. You kill when needed, Batman accused. But you let crime fall under your control. Why? Because chaos is inefficient, Yeo-Woon replied. Because evil thrives in noise. I will bring order. True order. Through fear. Yeo-Woon's eyes flared. Through discipline. Batman stepped forward. This is my city. Yeo-Woon didn't move. Then protect it better. Without another word, the demon god stepped backward into shadow and vanished. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the world, in Nana Parbat, Ra's al Ghul sat upon a throne of ancient stone. He opened his eyes. The ripple has begun. Behind him, his daughter Talia stepped forward. A new player. No, Raz murmured. An ancient power in a young shell. But not from our world. He stood. Contact the League. Prepare the Lazarus Protocol. End of Chapter 2. Next chapter. Roots of the Underworld. Cheon Yeo-Woon begins secret alliances. Gotham's heroes debate whether to act or observe. The League of Shadows makes their move. And the first battle beneath Gotham begins. Chapter 3. Roots of the Underworld. Gotham, below the Narrows. In a hidden chamber that once housed smugglers and runaway experiments, a new formation was carved into the stone. The demonic cult's inner circle stood around a map of Gotham, made from chi-engraved crystal. A red gem pulsed above each location where Red Moon Holdings had taken control. Lady Mock Jinsel stepped forward. We've mapped the ley line intersections. This world's mystical current is chaotic, but adaptable like a wild beast waiting to be tamed. Yeo-Woon remained silent, seated on his throne of obsidian. At his side stood 3 of his greatest generals. Lee Beck, the Silent Blade. Cho Yun, mistress of inner flame. Shin Mu-Jeng, whose fist cracked mountains. Expand. Yeo-Woon finally said, but silently, let them believe we are a rumor. Lady Mock bowed. As you command. In the shadows, League of Assassins, Nana Parbat. Talia al Ghul observed the satellite feed. The demonic cult's movement. Except one, the mystic sensors powered by the Lazarus pit itself. He is not like your other enemies, she warned her father. He thinks long. And he builds wide. Ra's al Ghul responded with a slight smile. He is familiar. Like the version of me I would have become, had I chosen iron over immortality. He turned. Send Nissa. Have her test their edges. But do not confront the demon god directly. Why not? Because I wish to know what he wants. Wayne Manor, Deep Research Wing. Bruce Wayne stood beside Constantine and Zatanna. Watching the diagram Oracle had reverse engineered from faint mystic pulses underground. This, Constantine muttered, is cultivation magic, but not any kind I've seen. It doesn't borrow power, it generates it. Zatanna traced the pattern. This isn't a spell, it's a city-wide cultivation array. Bruce turned sharply. What? Zatanna nodded. It's like he's using Gotham itself as a spiritual furnace. Elsewhere, LexCorp private conference. Lex Luthor reviewed the name Cheon Yeo-Woon. His AI had picked up the term whispered in underground forums and encrypted crime chatter. What do you think of him? Mercy asked. Lex leaned back, amused. He's doing what I would have done if I wasn't in the spotlight. The difference, he smirked. He doesn't care if people worship him. He tapped a button. I want an invite sent through neutral channels. Let's negotiate. Gotham streets, nightfall. Meanwhile, a trio of Red Hood's informants attempted to hijack a shipment from a warehouse supposedly abandoned. They found the guards already unconscious, their chi centers shattered without a single visible wound. Then they heard it. Step no further. From the shadows walked a girl, no more than 14, barefoot and silent. It was Joyu, one of the youngest demonic apprentices, trained in the 1,000-petal steps of Heaven's web. She didn't attack. She simply stood there, and the men dropped their weapons in fear. "Tell your master," she said. "This zone is protected by shadows deeper than death." The Watchtower, Justice League meeting. Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman reviewed the findings. "We can't find him," Diana said. "But we see the results. Gotham's crime rate has dropped 18%. But no one knows who they're afraid of." Clark nodded. "That kind of fear isn't peace." Batman said nothing, staring at the projection of Cheon Yeo-Woon's robed figure captured by Oracle's drones. "He's building something," Bruce said again. "Then what do we do?" Batman stood. "We find his foundation before it becomes a nation." Meanwhile, inside an abandoned subway line, Lady Mock Jinsel finished constructing a yin convergence sigil. Cheon Yeo-Woon stood nearby, eyes closed. Suddenly, he spoke. "The League of Assassins moves. Shall I prepare countermeasures?" she asked. He opened his eyes, gleaming with violet chi. "No. Let them come. We'll test their strength." He paused. "But the true threat is not from shadows." He turned to her. "This world has gods, and they will not allow usurpers." Lady Mock looked worried. "Then what do we do?" Yeo-Woon smiled for the first time. "We teach the gods to kneel." End of Chapter 3, Roots of the Underworld. Next chapter, The Lazarus Duel. Chapter 4, The Lazarus Duel. Metropolis, LexCorp Executive Lounge. Skyscrapers glittered behind tinted glass as Lex Luthor sipped a rare Italian espresso. Across from him sat a man he hadn't expected to see in person so soon. Cheon Yeo-Woon, calm and unreadable, wearing a tailored black suit over his robes like they belonged there. The room was shielded from all surveillance, except the eyes of Mercy Graves, who stood silently nearby. "You're not like the others who've come to save this world," Lex began. "You don't preach. You don't beg. You build." Yeo-Woon said nothing at first. Then, "And you don't fear gods. You only fear irrelevance." Lex smiled tightly. "Then we understand each other." "We don't," Yeo-Woon replied. "But we will." "What do you want?" Silence. "And no interference." Lex narrowed his eyes. "And what do I get?" Yeo-Woon stood. "A future where your species survives." The room chilled as if the very chi in the walls had frozen. "Then consider this a beginning." Yeo-Woon turned and left, his presence lingering like the scent of burning incense. Himalayan Pass. League of Assassins Sanctuary. Nissa Al Ghul adjusted her blades, her breath clouding the cold air. Around her stood 10 elite assassins, the immortal fangs. She was not here for negotiation. She was here for trial. In the circle of stone pillars, a lone figure stood with eyes closed. Cho Yun, mistress of Inner Flame, a high-ranking general of the demonic cult. "Are we going to talk?" Nissa asked. Cho Yun smiled. "No." Then she vanished. Blades clashed in a burst of light and heat. Flames bent unnaturally like conscious snakes. The assassins fell one by one, their nerves seared by chi-compressed fire arcs. Only Nissa remained standing. Barely. "You're not from this world," she hissed. "No," Cho Yun answered. "But we've already learned your strengths. You will not win this war in shadow." She turned and walked away, leaving Nissa on her knees as the flames cooled. Central City, Jitters Cafe. It was strange, watching a being of pure pressure sit at a sidewalk cafe. Cheon Yeo-Woon observed the world around him, the speed of people, the impatience, the fragmentation of society. Then a gust of wind blurred the scene. Barry Allen was suddenly in the chair across from him, holding a coffee. "You don't belong here," Barry said. "Neither do you," Yeo-Woon replied. Without looking up, Barry raised a brow. "You're the one behind the Red Moon Holdings." Yeo-Woon simply nodded. "You're not doing anything illegal, but you're disrupting everything." "The law does not equate justice," Yeo-Woon said. "Your people cling to structures that are rotting. I bring order through efficiency. That's not how it works here," Barry said. "That's why your world bleeds." A pause. Barry stood conflicted. "This isn't over." "No," Yeo-Woon said. "It's just beginning." Gotham rooftop. The second duel. The moon was high when Red Hood finally tracked the mysterious barefoot girl. He'd heard whispers about Joyu. She stood alone on a rooftop, staring out over Gotham like a ghost in training. "You're the one they call the Spider Girl?" Jason asked. She turned, calm, silent. "I don't kill unless ordered," she said softly. "But you're not here to fight. You're kids. You shouldn't be part of this." She tilted her head. "You wear the red mask of a killer and tell me what I should be." Jason hesitated. Then she smiled, not cruelly, but with ancient sorrow. "We aren't born warriors. We're made." Then she vanished into the night, leaving Jason with a chill in his spine and a realization that Gotham had new shadows. The Watchtower, Superman's quarters. Clark Kent reviewed footage from multiple cities. Anomalies in energy, disappearances of gang leaders, restored zones once corrupted. He frowned. "He's doing our job, but differently." Wonder Woman entered. "He's consolidating power. It always starts with order before it turns into rule." Clark turned to her. "If he brings peace, do we stop him because we don't like how Diana remains silent? We wait." Bruce's voice cut through their comms. "He's showing himself to key players. Testing boundaries. Let him play for now." Hitting cult base, Gotham's deepest roots, Yeo-Woon returned to his sanctum, where Lady Mock Jinsel and Lee Beck waited. "You've walked among them," Mock said. "Do you believe this world can be remade?" Yeo-Woon looked down at the city from the tunnel's end. "It already is. They just don't see it yet." Lee Beck stepped forward. A message came from one who calls himself John Constantine. Yeo-Woon smiled again, rare and sharp. "Good. Let the sorcerer speak." He looked at the carved diagram forming beneath their feet, part city map, part cultivation array. "The roots are growing. The tree will soon rise." End of Chapter 4, The Lazarus Duel. Next chapter, The Devil's Card. Chapter 5, The Devil's Card. Gotham, ancient catacombs beneath the financial district. The air tasted like iron and wet stone. Cheon Yeo-Woon stood before a buried relic, half submerged in a cavernous pit his cult had recently unearthed, etched with indecipherable sigils and pulsing faintly in time with the earth's breath. The relic radiated a foreign energy, not from earth, nor from the heavens. "This is no artifact of mortals," Lady Mock Jinsel said. "No," Yeo-Woon muttered, reaching out. "It is a root node of the multiverse." As his palm touched the relic, his chi surged into it, testing its structure. It responded. Suddenly, waves of cosmic chi blasted outward, rippling through space-time and briefly warping all energy readings across Gotham. Even the Watchtower systems blinked, confused. Yeo-Woon's body trembled as unknown star-forged inscriptions burned across his forearms. A new cultivation path had awakened, one that transcended even immortality. Liverpool, Constantine's lair. John Constantine gasped, nearly spilling his rum. What in bloody hell just flared up beneath? Gotham, he glanced down at his tarot deck. One card had flipped itself. The devil. Well, shit. Gotham, a secret chamber of the Court of Owls. 10 masked figures stood around a circular table, watching arcane monitors. One of their agents, the Talon known as Elias Greaves, kneeled before them. "The demonic cult spreads unseen," said one owl. "Our dominion is threatened." Another leaned forward. "Then let the Gravidigger hunt." The Talon nodded and vanished into the smoke. Gotham rooftops, the Talon versus Lee Beck. Midnight. Mist crawled along the rooftop of a condemned courthouse. There, Lee Beck, first blade of the demonic cult, observed the skyline, silent, like a stone guardian. Behind him, a blade whistled through the air. Without turning, Lee twisted 45 degrees, lifted his right arm, and deflected the incoming dagger with the ridge of his forearm. He spun counterclockwise, kicking backward with his left heel in a sweeping arc, catching Elias Greaves, the Talon, clean across the ribs. The assassin staggered but recovered quickly, spinning on his palms like a breakdancer and launching a low scissor kick to Lee's shins. Lee jumped only 2 inches, and it was enough to redirect his entire body upward, flipping above the Talon. As he rotated in midair, he unsheathed the thin chi blade and sliced diagonally, right shoulder to left hip. Clang. Sparks erupted as Talon blocked with a collapsible wrist guard. They separated. Both stood still, then moved simultaneously. The Talon dashed forward, his left hand forming a forward spear grip, while his right flipped a blade upward toward Lee's throat. Lee sidestepped, letting the first stab pass, then caught the second with 2 fingers and twisted. Bones cracked. He spun inward and struck with his right palm, delivering a heaven-severing push directly to the Talon's sternum. Crack. The Talon flew backward, tumbling through air, smashing into a rooftop water tank. Water burst everywhere, but when the water cleared, the Talon was gone. Wayne Enterprises, subterranean vault. At the same time, Bruce Wayne and Lucius Fox studied the readings from the relic's energy pulse. This is bold, Lucius said. Not Kryptonian, not apocalyptian. It's pre-universal physics. Bruce narrowed his eyes. Whatever he touched, down there, it's alive. Constantine's arrival, Gotham Underground. John Constantine stood in the newly formed passage below Gotham, a cigarette burning low in his fingers. He wasn't alone. The moment he crossed the outer sigil line, he felt it, chi, thick as smoke, wrapping around his lungs. From the far shadows stepped Cheon Yeo-Woon. You came, couldn't resist? You're stirring too many cosmic nests, Constantine said, brushing ash off his coat. You know you just poked a hole in the veil between realities. I do now. Constantine raised a brow. Why? Yeo-Woon looked at him. The same calm eyes that had seen blood, fire, empires fall. Because this world's fate is no longer its own. I intend to make it mine. Constantine lit another cigarette. You're either the solution, mate, or the apocalypse. That will depend on who gets in my way. Elsewhere, Red Hood's decision. Jason Todd held the mask in his hands, staring at the shadows beyond his safe house. The girl, Jo-Yu, had haunted his thoughts. A child warrior, cold, dead-eyed, just like he had been once. Maybe they're not the enemy, he muttered. He opened a sealed compartment and pulled out a communicator, one linked to an independent ops frequency Batman didn't monitor. He keyed it. This is Red Hood. I want a meeting with the one they call the Demon God. Cult Sanctuary, the plan expands. Later that night, Yeo-Woon and Lady Mock stood before the cultivation array, now upgraded, humming with new cosmic chi. The Talon failed, Mock said. Let them keep testing us, Yeo-Woon replied. He pointed to the updated glyphs on the diagram. Activate Phase 2. We move into Bloodhaven next. After that, Coast City, the Justice League, will intervene. Yeo-Woon turned, violet chi spiraling around him like an ancient storm. Then we'll give them a choice. His eyes gleamed. Kneel or break. End of Chapter 5, The Devil's Card. Next chapter, Ghost Flame and Green Ring. Chapter 6, Ghost Flame and Green Ring. Bloodhaven Industrial District. 2:03 a.m. Bloodhaven was on fire. Not literal flames, spiritual fire. Several gangs, trafficking rings, and black market media labs had begun vanishing off the map. No turf war. No police sting. Just silence. In the back room of a neon-lit arcade, a half-dozen marks were loading crates into a van when the lights died. Then came a whisper. Do not resist. The lead thug spun around. Too late. Jo-Yu dropped from the ceiling, landing silently behind him. Her right elbow smashed into the back of his neck, sending him face first into the crate. She pivoted smoothly, twisting her left wrist and drawing a double-edged dagger from her thigh sheath. The second thug lunged. She parried with her forearm, stepping inside his guard. With one flowing motion, she sliced through his Achilles tendon, then jabbed upward into his diaphragm, knocking the breath from his lungs. A third thug tried to raise a gun. A needle whistled through the air and embedded itself in his temple. He dropped like a puppet. From the shadows emerged Cho-Yun, flame ore flickering like a candle in wind. No survivors, she whispered. Master's orders. Bloodhaven rooftops, Nightwing's pursuit. Nightwing raced across rooftops, tracking the flicker of chi like a bloodhound. Every crime scene had the same signature, untraceable energy. Non-lethal damage with surgical precision and a smell, incense and ozone. He leapt to a rooftop and landed in a crouch. A small silhouette waited for him. Jo-Yu? You're just a girl, he said. Confused. Age does not reflect the blade, she said softly, taking a stance. He saw the unnatural way she breathed. Trained rhythm, battle-forged. I'm not here to hurt you, but I am. She struck. First move, a low lunge with her left knee, forcing Nightwing to backpedal. Second, a feint with her right shoulder. Then a quick backhand stab toward his hip. Nightwing blocked with his eskrima stick, twirled it, and tried to disarm her, but her grip rotated with a spin, and she used the momentum to flip over his shoulder. Midair, she slashed downward. Nightwing ducked by rolling sideways, barely escaping a chi-coated strike that sliced through solid concrete. You're not a street punk, he muttered. I am the shadow of a god. Then she vanished again, leaving him breathless. Coast City to 38,000 feet above, Hal Jordan soared over the Pacific. Answering a ping from the watchtower, a faint pulse had radiated from Earth Sector 2814. unlike anything recorded before. He zeroed in on the coordinates, a former satellite relay site on the coast. He landed beside it, scanning, then stopped. Cheon Yeo-Woon stood at the center, unmoving. "You're the one everyone's talking about," Hal said. "You are the one entrusted with light." Yeo-Woon replied. "Fascinating." Hal raised his ring. Green energy hummed to life, forming a barrier. "You want to tell me what kind of energy you're leaking into the system?" Yeo-Woon raised a single finger. His chi responded, forming a ghostly white lotus that hovered before him. "Your ring speaks with will. Mine speaks with heaven." The lotus blinked and surged forward like a bullet. Hal immediately raised a constrict shield, but the lotus warped around it, compressing gravity and slamming into his chest. Hal was launched backward through the air, crashing into the ocean. Seconds later, he burst back up, breathing hard. "Okay, that's new." Yeo-Woon landed lightly on the water's surface, walking across it. "I didn't come to kill, only to measure." Hal narrowed his eyes. "You picked the wrong place to experiment." He fired a green chain, snaring Yeo-Woon, or so he thought. The moment the chain wrapped around his target, Yeo-Woon vanished, not via teleportation, but through chi shadow stepping, warping his location between muscle contractions. Yeo-Woon reappeared behind Hal, palm raised, glowing. "Your will is strong, but it is external. Learn to wield it internally, or it will one day collapse." Then he simply left. Hal floated in silence, drenched, heart pounding. What the hell just happened? Titan's tower, Raven's chamber. Raven awoke with a scream. Her mirror vibrated violently, showing a shadowed lotus, pulsing in tandem with her soul self. "No," she whispered. "It's not Trigon. It's something worse." From the shadows stepped her own astral double. "You will meet him soon. He is like you." "No one is like me." "Then why does your darkness tremble in his presence?" Cold chamber, Gotham underground. As Raven meditated on his presence, Yeo-Woon sat at the center of a rotating formation circle, forming 3 concentric rings. One for material energy chi, one for spiritual energy, one for cosmic resonance. Above him hovered a translucent ring of stardust and ink. "This relic," Lady Mock whispered. "It is creating a gate." "To where?" Lee Beck asked. Yeo-Woon opened his eyes. "They burn like twin moons. Not a place, a state." He raised his hand, and from the shadows came a floating scroll, written in celestial characters no earth language could replicate. "This world operates on rules. It's time we rewrite them." Justice League Inner Conference, Secret Channel. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Martian Manhunter stared at the projection of Cheon Yeo-Woon's aura map. "He's making moves across every major hub," Bruce said. But no open crime. No death, Clark added. "He's removing chaos, not causing it." "The League of Assassins is retreating from Gotham," Diana noted. "Even they sense imbalance." "So what do we do?" Clark asked. Bruce frowned. "We don't move until he does." "And if he decides to rule?" Jane asked. "Then we see if gods can bleed." End of Chapter 6, Ghost Flame and Green Ring. Next chapter, Hearts in the Shadows.